Hello YouTube, this is Asatsu 5 and I got a lidar review for you today. This particular lidar, the Douglas Field S, has gotten a good bit of coverage on Instagram, and Blade HQ has a video on it. In fact, Blade HQ posted the photo of it on Instagram, and I had a very short conversation with someone who was interested in it. I told him that I'll do a review over it with more details. I don't know if he's going to watch it. He does. I didn't even say the fact that I was Asatsu 5 on YouTube. I just said I'm going to post a video on YouTube about it. But yeah, this is a very, very interesting model. It appealed to me because of all of its features and stuff. But there are some pros and cons that need to be talked about that are not covered in any of the reviews I've seen on this lidar. All the reviews I've seen on this lidar are very, very positive. The demonstration on Blade HQ, they're not really reviews, they're demonstrations. And they say that. They say, we're going to demo this knife for you, or we're going to show you, give you an overview of this product. It's not really a review. So I felt that I'm ready to do a real review on this. Just to show you what the box comes with, this is the Douglas lidar Field S, Douglas Studios. This is made in Japan. Let's see if I can get it out. This is a spare wick and spare O-rings. This does not come with it. I paid extra for that. You got your instructions, which are in English. Some of the other reviews I've seen on this, which there are not a lot of them, but some of the other reviews that I've seen on this, their instructions were in Japanese. And then, let's see if I can get this out. You get this transparency that pretty much gives you the anatomy of the lidar. Okay, let's talk about what makes this lidar special. Well, first off, let me zoom out here a little bit. This lidar is lockable. And when I say lockable, basically you can batten down the hatches. You have this screw right here, well, not screw, but this collar that you have to unscrew, and you can do this all with one hand before you can light it. This could be helpful if you have little kids around. If they're not experienced enough to know to unscrew that, it could prevent them from starting a fire that you don't want. And eventually they might figure it out, but this will give you a little bit extra time to find out what they're up to. So anyways, you unscrew that. You'll notice that there was an O-ring there, and there was an O-ring down there. There is an O-ring right here, and this unscrews off, and you got another small container for your flint. This kind of area right here is where you keep spare fuel. So it's kind of a James Bondish. You know, you got a spare fluid and spare lidar with you. And then this, which is very interesting, this is not really a spring like a Zippo. And if I can get my fat fingers to grab it, this is more of a piston spring. And this is very boring watching me unscrew this, but I just wanted to show it to you. I'm not going to take apart the spare flint and fluid thing, because it does have fluid in it and I don't want to spill it. But as you can see, there was an O-ring right there, and there it is. That's the ramrod, I'm going to call it. So I'll try to screw this back in, and it'll help if I have it not by it. It'll help if I don't do it in front of the tripod. This is kind of tricky. Okay, here we go. Let's see, make sure it still works. It does. Okay, why all the O-rings? well, I already told you about the spare fluid and spare flint, so that means if you're out and about in the woods and you run out of flint or you run out of fluid, you got some backup. But why all the O-rings? Why this locking mechanism, which you can lock and unlock with one hand? Well, basically it comes down to this. This lidar was made where you can completely submerge it in water, and you can get it out of the water, unscrew this, which I should have brought a little water container in there, but everybody's review on this already has this demonstration. You can go on Blade HQ and watch them dunk it, but it waterproofs the lidar. Now, I'm not saying you can scuba dive with it. You might be able to, well, I'm pretty sure you can cross rivers. You can drop this in a mud puddle. You can dunk this. You can leave it in a cup of water overnight, unlock it, and it'll light. I did it not overnight, but I had it under the sink, full pressure, coming out of the faucet, thinking that it might force its way in there, and it didn't. It worked. And the Blade HQ photo that they posted on Instagram, they said in case you need a light in the rain. And I mentioned to someone that someone left a comment saying, is this a gimmick? And I said, well, I'll tell you this. First off, I'm going to post a review on it. But second off, yes, it is waterproof. No, it's not windproof. And someone else left a response to that comment saying, well, that's kind of weird because rain and wind go hand in hand. Well, this wasn't designed to be a storm lidar. It wasn't designed especially for rain. And I say this because almost all lidars are rainproof. You can light almost any lidar that has a rain without wind. You can pretty much light it as long as it's not filling up the ignition chamber. You can do it with a Zippo, you can do it with a Bic, you can do it with this. Rain isn't this lidar's selling point. The selling point to this lidar is one that you can dunk it. You can, like if it's in your backpack and you drop your backpack in a pond or something, this lidar is going to work. Also, they advertise that this lidar will hold its fluid or its fuel, oil, gas, whatever you want to call it, for over a year. Which this really appealed to me because I don't smoke. I'm not a smoker. So there was only a handful of times I need a lidar. And so the fact that this is waterproof and it has spare flint, spare fluid, and it holds its fuel for a long period of time was very appealing to me. Because, I only go out in the outdoors, a few times a year. Sometimes at work I need to light stuff. We burn leaves and that kind of stuff. So lidars do come in handy for non-smokers. But like I said, this lidar is not windproof, and I'll show that to you. Let's see if I can do this behind the tripod. Well, there we go. It was windproof for a little bit, but it blows out pretty easily compared to a Zippo. And now it's screwing up on me. There we go. Try this again. See if I can do this both at the same time. See? So, yes, this is waterproof. Yes, this holds its fluid for a long period of time, but if you're a smoker and you need to light something in a potentially windy situation, I think the Zippo is the best way to go. And this is by far a very aesthetically pleasing lidar. It's kind of steampunk. They have this in camouflage, and they have it in kind of a black acid wash. This is the diamond cut. They have plain stainless steel and brass, but it kind of looks like a smokestack from a train. I'm just going to describe it as steampunk. Very fashionable. But I'll get back to that later. Something else I want to talk about is you have to put a good bit of pressure behind this to light it. It's not like a lot, but it has a very good detent on it. So it actually requires a little bit more strength to light it. As opposed to the Zippo, I can slap it, and it's just a lot easier on your thumb. In fact, there's a trick where you light this with your pinky. You know, let's see if I can scoot back a little bit. You know, it's a flourish. So the Zippo is actually a lot more pleasant to use on a regular basis if you're going to be smoking a chain smoker. I think the Zippo actually is more pleasant to use than the Douglas. Now, there's another pro and con that I want to discuss. This, you know, obviously lights. You can light a cigarette with it. It's not very good for lighting candles that are in glass, which Zippos aren't amazing at that either. This is aesthetically pleasing to the eye. It's very, very different from what you're used to. Zippos, you can get them in all kinds of flavors and colors and themes. The plain Zippo, you know, is pretty universal. Some of these Zippos are very pretty, some of them are not. You can get them, it's pretty much as dressed up as you want. But something you can't do with this lighter that you can do with this lighter is that you can do the flourishes. And I don't have it set up to do the Twilight Zone, my favorite trick. But like if you're at a social setting, you know, a wedding, you know, New Year's Eve party, 4th of July party, any situation like that, and you happen to be a smoker, you carry a Zippo, or maybe you're just a Boy Scout and you need to light candles on a cake. You know, a Zippo is so much more entertaining. You can flourish it. You can do all kinds of tricks. And so the Zippo is very, very versatile. It gives you a much bigger flame. So if you're smoking cigars, this is actually going to be a little bit better than wow, that's a big flame. Usually it's not that big. But like I said, I guess it's breaking in. I only had it for a couple of weeks. But this generally gives you a bigger flame. But there you go. A big, wide flame. And so I actually like the Zippo better for social situations. It's more forgiving when you strike it. It's more windproof. And you can play with it. You know, entertain yourself. And why is the Zippo better than this lighter? Well, there's a very good argument for that. Zippos range anywhere from, let's say, $9, $10, all the way up to $40. I can't think of any of them that cost more than that unless they're gold plated or something. So you can get Zippos really, really cheap. Do you know how much this particular one cost? $100. And it's not windproof. It's not super flashy for as doing tricks. It does hold its fluid. It does have these cool features on it that are almost James Bond-like, but it's very, very expensive. So, you know, unless you just are in love with this lighter, and it doesn't bother you that it's not as windproof as a Zippo, you know, by all means get it, but I kind of regret getting it. I was just caught up in the moment, and it was late at night and stuff. Wow, that was weird. But so this lighter, to me, doesn't serve the purpose very well. It's a good ladle. It functions as a ladle other than its windproofness. Something else I should have mentioned. If you light this and you leave it lit for a good amount of time, this whole thing starts heating up. I know Zippos will heat up, but this one really does. So it can second as a hand warmer if you need it to. It's a cool ladle, but I think if I was going to carry a ladle, I think I'd prefer the Zippo. So that's pretty much it. Very cool, very innovative. This is all machined. It's not stamped. It's not stamped metal. A lot of things are going on with this ladle, but I just kind of regret buying it. Not saying it's a bad ladle. It's just not as cool as the Zippo, other than the fact that this one can dunk underwater and then you can light it again and it holds its fluid for a long time. So anyways, it's personal preference. I wanted to discuss the pros and cons. I really wanted to show the windproofness of the ladle because I think with smokers that's going to be the more important detail than the fact of it being able to be submerged underwater. So that's it. Hope y'all have a great day. I'm a Satsu 5 and I'm out.